Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Horror Shed Podcast. I'm Jared, along with the one and only South Jersey slasher himself, Brian. Today's episode, we have guests coming to us from Texas, stars of the upcoming horror movie Night. Please welcome Keelan and Major. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing
We're
great.
doing good.
Very good, very good. How you doing, Brian?
I didn't even hear you. My screen froze.
Well, everyone else heard me, so we're good.
Oh, you did your introduction.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, no, it says my internet connection's unstable. We'll see what happens.
Your Pennsylvania connection.
Hey, I got good. Well, anyway, I didn't hear the introduction, but I'm doing good. These guys are doing good. And before we get into talking to Kellen and Mahir, Jared, real quick, how was your day at Monster Mania?
It was fun. The wife got to live her lifelong dream of meeting Jax Teller, so she's happy.
Good. I saw that picture. She had a big old shit-eating grin on her smile.
She came out and cried, so it was pretty funny.
And we'll go more into Monster Mania on our next recording because we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to do our reactions to Scream 6 because you saw it yesterday. I'm going to see it tomorrow. Hey guys, did you see it yet or not yet?
No, we haven't seen it.
Okay. All right. And also,
I didn't even know it released yet.
Well, you're so busy making your movie, you know.
Yeah.
So, before we get into talking to tonight's guest, we want to give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners, Rick Paulton. He recently started his own podcast called the whole damn enchilada.
Yes.
So you can find that on Spotify. He has one episode out. It was a test run. He wanted to see how he would do, and he sent me the link early so I can listen to it. And Rick, you did a good job. I told you your energy's there. There was no pauses, like that awkward silence. You kept it going. So be sure to check out on Facebook, the whole damn enchilada, and also you can find him on Spotify. He's going to be releasing an episode coming soon. So tonight we have two gentlemen with us. We have Kellen Grant and Mahir Corby, and they're here to talk about their upcoming film, Night, which is a horror film, and can we say maybe a little psychological thriller too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I'll start off with the questions. Jared, you can do the evens. All right.
Alrighty.
So before we discuss your movie, we want to know a little bit more about yourself. So we'll start with Kellen. You said you're from Texas, and this is your first movie that you're doing?
Yeah, I live in Texas. I'm actually from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. All right.
And I kind of always wanted to be like starring in a movie and stuff, but you can't really pick and choose what movie you want to be in. So I decided to make my own.
Okay.
And so I spent like almost like a year and a half just studying film, watching YouTube videos and just how to record certain things, how to get like the best possible quality on like a low budget and stuff.
All right,
And
so you're self-taught then. Like I know in high school they do have media classes, and these just a side note, these two gentlemen, I'm thinking they're like in their early 20s. They're in high school still. So when I went to high school, they had media class. Are you taking any media classes?
no, I am set to be in a visual and audio class next school year. So,
All right, and my computer keeps freezing on my end, so apologies. I did hear you, but
I'm a little laggy too.
okay.
yeah,
Maybe you're okay. So you learned on YouTube, as a lot of people do. They like when I need to learn to do something around the house, to fix something, I go to YouTube. So that's great that you're self-taught. Is this something you want to pursue as a like a career?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I
So
love film and I love things like this.
okay. So what do you see yourself being more involved with as you get older, the behind the scenes or in front of the camera?
Honestly, I want to be involved with both. Like I'm fine with being behind the scenes. Being in front of the camera is like being the star, like being the face of the product, kind of, which okay. I'm totally fine with being. I would say more in front of the camera, but I'm okay with both. Totally
Okay.
fine with both.
Okay.
Or
And
either
before we
or.
go further, I just, I was going to talk a little bit about this later on, but Kellen, so you are the writer, the director, and the main star of the film, and we'll get into a little bit about that, but I just want to let the audience know. All right, superstar Mahir with the stunner shades on. Um, Now you guys both go to school together. That's how you met. Um, I'm going to say this is your first like movie you're working on as well.
Yes, this is my first movie, and at first it was kind of like, oh, I'm never gonna be an actor, film or act in a movie, and now I'm acting in Keelan's movie, so we're gonna see how it goes.
All right. And have you done anything like part of the drama club or do you have any acting experience?
Nope, I've never been in
Okay.
any acting classes or anything like that. This is my
All
first
right.
time ever touching it.
All right. So who do you look up to like as a movie star or TV star?
I have a couple, but I would say a main one would probably be Christian Bale, just because how he can adapt to any role and how
Okay.
he can be the character that he's acting. He can just like you can forget that he even has his own life, and you'll just be like, oh,
Right.
that's literally him. So that's why I look up to him a lot in acting.
Yeah, and just don't be the behind the scenes Christian Bale when he yells at the I forget who when he was making Terminator Salvation, there was that audio of him just ripping into someone. And Keelan, who do you look up to, like either in front of the camera or behind the camera?
Uh, Behind the camera, I look up to Steven Spielberg and James Cameron,
Very nice.
and
Okay.
in front of the camera, it's like Christian Bale as well, and
Okay.
also I will say like Robert Downey Jr.
Very nice. So, okay, so I'll put you on a spot. Your favorite Steven Spielberg and Cameron film.
Okay, Steven Spielberg. I like this movie called I forgot what it was called, but it was about like this giant gorilla. I think it's called uh like Big Joe or something like that. And it's about these people that go into Amazon to like capture the giant gorilla or something like that.
For Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then James Cameron, I would say I don't know. I'm not a big I mean I like Avatar, but I think that's like popular demand. Like
Right.
everyone like Avatar, but
He's a
I would say
Titanic
Avatar as
fan. He
well.
just doesn't want to say
Shit, I love Titanic. I'll say it.
Yeah.
it. All right, and Christian, like you had mentioned, Christian Bale, he when he gets a role, he really gets in a role. I don't know if you've ever seen The Machinist, early 2000 movie. He legit like got down to like 100 pounds for this role, and then like
Yeah.
2 years later, he's making a Dark Knight. So I mean, that's called method acting. When you really
Yes.
dedicate yourself to that role. All right, Jared.
All right. So, Night is a horror movie. Growing up, what or who inspired you to become a horror filmmaker?
Uh, it's just been watching a lot of horror movies. Like when Halloween come around, just sit there as a little kid being scared, scare yourself, and then tell your parents that you had nightmares, even though they told you not to watch it in the first place. But it's just like when you get older and realize like it's like just totally fiction and stuff, like you just start to fall in love with it, I guess. I
So
really like horror.
what was your earliest recollection of watching a horror film?
Uh Halloween. I remember I was
Halloween.
on AMC and Halloween was coming on at around 10 o'clock. And I was like 7 and my bedtime was like 9. I was like, Mom, please let me stay up to 10 to watch this. And she did. And I watched it and it was great.
Good,
It's
good. So
great.
you got started on a good classic. All right. What about you, Mahir? What's your earliest recollection?
Um, well, I'll say probably the first horror movie like that I can say that touched me really like was probably Chucky, because I was horrified of Chucky, because even my family, they would like be like, oh, if you keep acting up, we're gonna buy a Chucky doll and we're gonna keep it in your room, and that would just scare me and I would never misbehave again. So I'll probably say the first Chucky movie, like I just still remember the feeling when I watched it and I
Nice.
couldn't sleep. I couldn't even sleep that night. I
Have you
was just so horrified.
have you caught the Chucky TV series?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I don't really watch like the new stuff that they put out for Chucky because I feel like, it's a little bit like new era. I kind of like the old era of Chucky, like how it used to be back then when
Yeah,
it was
I
like
got
really
you.
good.
Like, I was a little skeptical of the TV show. I'm like, how are they going to do a
Yeah,
Chucky TV series? And I do not like Bride of Chucky, except for Jennifer Tilly. I do not like Seed of Chucky, and
mm,
the two newer films, like he didn't look like Chucky, but I have to say the
yeah,
TV show, they brought it back to its roots. They brought back, like, I mean, not that he was in it a lot, but the character of Andy, and it's a fun show. The first season was, it grew on me. Second season was like balls to the walls. It was great.
mm.
So if you guys have an opportunity, I highly suggest watching it.
Yeah. I might have
All right.
to check it out now.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, for being on a network, the things that they get away with like shocks me. Like Chucky, like they're allowed to say the F word a certain amount of times before they get bleeped out. I think it's like
Yeah,
half a dozen times, but then after that they'll just bleep it out. It's really funny, but the second season by far was a fun ride. All right, Keelan. It's Keelan, correct? Or Kellen?
Keelan.
Keelan, okay. Talk to us about Night. Where did this idea for the story come from?
Okay, so Night, I used to make like funny videos and just like videos on my YouTube channel. And one time I just decided to make this fake trailer for this horror movie that was supposed to never come out. And then I just realized that it would be a decent idea for a real horror movie. I just made some tweaks. I completely changed the plot, and I started writing the scripts for it and stuff. And I think it's pretty solid right now. So I guess we're like 10 months later, I'm actually creating this and putting this in the works. But it started off as nothing. Like it was never set to come out. It was just a YouTube video that I was making.
Yeah, I watched your video and I have to say, like, I really like how you took like what they do, like in a lot of the horror movies, like when you're texting someone and you got the chat come up and everything. Like I like that. It shows that you're staying up with the times. Now, hey, Eli Roth, he, what was that one movie Tarantino did, Jared? With the Grindhouse Pictures, there was Death Proof, and then there was
It was
Planet
called,
Terror.
yeah,
Planet
Planet
Terror,
Terror.
right? What Eli Roth did was like before because I think they packaged it as one whole movie and it was very long, but before each movie they had fake trailers. And a couple of those trailers, one was made into a movie, Machete, with Danny Trejo. All right. So you're off to a good start. You got a good concept. And then the next one, which people have been wanting for over 10 years, was Thanksgiving. And that's finally being made into
Oh,
a horror movie. So you got a good mind right there. I like how you did that. And then Keelan, you wear many hats in the making of this movie. You are the writer, you're the director, editor, and you also play the main character. Talk to us about the challenges of having so many roles.
really, there's no no like the challenges aren't that big to me. Uh, I edit like all the time. I'm always on my phone, always on my computer, just editing, like all the time. Like I have a lot of experience with editing.
Okay.
Acting, not too much, but I made the main character like really close to me, so I'm pretty much just playing myself with a couple of added on specs, which is kind of easy to do. Like and directing, I never directed before, so that might be the biggest challenge.
Okay.
Uh, but everything else, I think is like I'm already like experienced.
Okay. And what is Night about? Is it nightmares, right? Because you saw something and the character could have done something to prevent it.
Yes, well, that's the thing. Like the danger is real. It's not a nightmare,
Okay.
but it's more about like kind of like facing your fears. But it's like I said, like it's kind of like psychological thriller, like Hereditary and other things, kind of like that, like Midsummer stuff.
Oh,
Like
so
it's kind of like,
you're a Ty West fan.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I liked Hereditary up until the very end.
yeah.
Okay.
The ending is horrible in my opinion.
Midsummer, I kept falling asleep. Every time I woke up, it was like orgies and I fell back asleep. Like, what am I watching?
What am I missing? Why didn't I watch this yet?
But I have to say though, I'm sure if you like those movies and Ty West, I'm sure you've seen X and Pearl by any
Yes,
chance?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen Pearl, but I have seen X.
Pearl is a lot different from X because you go from a straight up horror film to more like a drama and psychological. I liked how Ty West went with, okay, this movie's set like in the 20s. We're going to do the opening credits of how they used to do the movies from like the 20s to the 50s. It was very colorful and vibrant. But I have to say, Mia Goth's ending monologue for that film, like 7 minutes, they did it all in one take. That was Oscar worthy right there. And it's a shame like horror gets overlooked in those categories for the Oscars. All right, so I'm liking your directing style and everything. Is this going to be like a short film, or are you trying to go like longer than an hour?
Yeah, this will be a full length feature film, so set to be an hour and 30 minutes plus.
Nice.
And yeah,
All right.
How many times have you rewritten the script?
like literally like a trillion times.
The guys are
Like my
all ready
first
to
script,
set. Yeah.
like my first script, I looked at my first script and I was like, what was I thinking making this? Like it took a lot of tweaking, but now I think I finally have what would be solid on the screen. Very original in my opinion, but also like shows heavy inspiration to other films.
Nice. Is it like, Mahir's already like read his script, he knows what he has to say, and you're like, up guys, I know we're gonna start our scene today, but here's a new script and all new
Yeah,
lines. Does that
that'd be
happen?
awful. No, that hasn't happened.
Okay.
Luckily.
Well, you're off to like 20% better than Hollywood because a lot of times they don't even have the script ready when they
Yeah.
start filming. So
There you go.
you're off to a start.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on 5, right, sir?
Mhm,
All right.
mhm.
Mahir, can you tell us about your character, Nate Mocker?
Well, Nate Walker is basically Josh Park's best friend in the movie. They've grown up since, kindergarten. They've been friends. So their chemistry is like really good. They have really good bond. And throughout the movie you'll see like they have a really good friendship connection where it's like, a really good bond. And it's hard to tear them apart. Even when they're not even on talking terms, they'll still look out for each other. But Nate's kind of a mischievous character. You don't really know that much about him, and there will be scenes where you will see a lot about him, but throughout the movie you won't really know a lot about him. He's kind of mysterious, and that's why I like playing Nate, because he's like mysterious. He doesn't show a lot of emotion in the movie, but he does feel a lot of emotions, and sometimes he acts on them and sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes he just remembers it, and then when it's appropriate he takes action on it. So that's why I like playing Nate, because I feel like Nate, he's unpredictable. One minute he'll be doing this, the next minute he'll be doing another thing, and you won't even expect it. So Nate's a very interesting character.
And
I like
Keelan,
playing Nate.
you're Josh, right? Is that your character?
Yes, Josh
Okay.
Brolin.
So is Josh, describe his character. Is he like a goody goody? Like a
Yeah, absolutely goody goody. He's heavily inspired by Final Girls, but I just
Okay.
want to switch the role a little bit.
Okay.
He's kind of like I said, like all good grades, uh, no swearing kind of thing. Like just
Okay.
like absolutely goody two shoes type of
And
person.
is that how you are in real life? Like, are you goody goody, like get good grades and you go by the rules?
Yeah, well, mostly, but like I said, I did have to change. I wanted my character to be a little different for me, but
Mhm.
still similar enough for me to play it appropriately with my lack of experience.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah, we're similar. I'm probably like 90% accurate to my character.
Okay.
So
And what about you, Mahir? Or how close are you to the character of Nate?
Well, I mean, in person, I don't really show a lot of emotion. I like to keep everything inside, and I just like to, I have a filter where I could be mad or sad or whatever, and I'll still keep a smile on my face and get through the day, as much as I need to. But I feel like, well, me and Nate, we connect on a level where it's like being mischievous because, Nate's very intelligent in the movie too. Like Josh and Nate are both intelligent. They've grown up since kindergarten, so they both have the same, thinking and the same, smarts. But I feel like Nate is just always one step ahead of everything, and I feel like me and Nate are kind of on a different thing where it's like he doesn't like to share anything to anyone. He keeps his circle small, and he
Okay.
doesn't really trust a lot of people. So I feel like me and Nate, I tried to change up, like Keelan said, change up a couple things with myself and the character,
Hmm.
but on some level we are kind of related. But yeah.
Gotcha. Excuse me. So, Keelan, how did you find the other actors to play Mark? So there's Nate, who is obviously Mahir. You're Jay. Then we got Mark and CJ. So, how did you find those actors? Or they friends of yours as well?
yes, they're friends of mine. One thing about low budget filmmaking, they say like if you can't afford actors, just get people you know and make
Yeah.
sure that the roles are very similar to them. Because none of these are like they don't have very much experience, which I was totally fine with. And so I made everyone pretty much friends in the movie, kind of like how
Okay.
we are in real life.
All right. Good.
And so we have that connection.
You had the chemistry, which helps.
Yeah, it helps a
Do
lot.
they have any experience? Like, are they in the drama club?
Well, the person who plays Jay actually was in theater, so he
Okay.
has somewhat experience.
Okay.
But
Here,
everyone else is kind of like me.
I'll give you a little bit of advice. So if you want to continue making films, there's a very good website called backstage.com. It is a website for actors to find work, uh, people like directors, writers looking to hire people for film roles, and there's a filter that you can choose, union, non-union, and until you get to the where you want to be, like you say you go to college for this and you're making a film, and obviously you're not going to have a lot of money. Check the non-union roles, okay? And when you reach out to them, of course, you tell them like this is the kind of film you're going to be making. It's a student project. I can't afford to pay you, but obviously I could pay for gas, lodging, food, because I did a Friday 13th fan film a couple years ago. It was a short, like 12 minutes, and I was only casting for two people other than the person playing Jason, and I got both of them were out of New York City, and we just paid for their hotel, gas, and like I said, we bought them like lunch and dinner, and we shot on the first day of shooting was more B-roll footage and pretty much the majority scenes of Jason in the woods, and then like the second day was with the actors, and they'll send you their demo reels, or they might have the demo reels on their profile. So when you get to where you want to go, like making another film, take a look at this at backstage.com. Okay.
Will do.
Will there be any challenging scenes to film?
Yes.
There will
Actually,
be. I
we
mean, I feel like
have.
if the scene is going to be good, it has to have some type of challenge to it, whether it's the acting, the props, the scenery, you know. So,
Are there any practical effects you're using in the film?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Heavy practical effects.
Okay. And do you have someone in charge of that for those effects, or are you doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing it currently. Uh, but hopefully we can get someone else to take charge of it as well.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Our when I did the fan film, the challenging scene was really the kill scene. It was like one and
Yeah.
done. We have to get it right. So the night before we practiced with the blood capsules and the splurting, basically they were in an embrace, and Jason shoots him with a spear gun. So you see him shoot the spear gun from a wide angle. Obviously, you don't see it hitting them, but you see the aftermath. So we had a second spear where we cut it in half, and the first half was through the actor's shirt and whatever Dave Brown used to hold the back of it, and then the tip of the spear was through the back of the female, and we had a little tube that was supposed to have blood trickle down, but it wasn't working right. Plus, it was hot that day, so it started to come apart, but the final product was really good. So again, it's going to be challenging, but just all I can say is like pre-plan it, have a little outline of how you want it to go. Now, with the equipment you're using, are you shooting this like on your phone, or do you have like a camera? How you doing all that?
It will be filmed on a camera and phone
Okay.
as of right now. I wanted to kind of make it a little like, I don't know, like grungy a little
Okay.
bit. So I will switch in between
Oh, nice. I like
different
that. I like
things
that. So you got so basically it's like professional, pro camera, and then you have the cell phone to kind of make it like what they call guerrilla style shooting in a
Oh
way.
yeah, yes.
Very, very nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see. So number
We already did 8, so you're on 9.
we did 8. Okay. So a lot of filmmakers, they use Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Have you used that at all, or are you planning on to using it, or is it all self-funded?
It's self-funded as of right now, but I mean, I would try to start like a GoFundMe. Kickstarter and Indiegogo hasn't been working that well with me right now, so I
Okay.
just self-funded it.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. I gotta ask you, Mahir, do you have any scenes in this film that the ladies are going to be like, man, who's this guy? Who's this stud?
I don't know if I can say that because, but we will definitely have something like that. I can say that we'll most likely have something like that.
So
You know.
how are obviously, I'm sure people in school, your peers, know about the filming. Like, how has the support been from your family, friends, teachers?
Support has been like really nice, really, really nice. It made me feel nice to know that I have supporters. Almost every day I go to school and they're like, "When's the movie coming out? When's the movie coming out?" And I'm like, "Chill, chill. It's gonna come on when it come out."
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's been a lot of support, especially from my mom
Oh,
and
good.
family and everything. But yeah,
What about you,
But there's
Mahir?
also had the support has been really good. A lot of people have been asking me questions about the movie, like how Keelan said, when's it coming out? And also one of Keelan's teachers actually has been supporting him throughout the movie and has been telling him, sending him a lot of stuff saying like that he's a big fan of what he's doing. So it's just good to see that we have a lot of grown-ups perspective from the movie and that we have a
Good.
lot of support
Good.
from the older people that, have a lot of experience.
And also to help get the your movie out in a broader audience, there's a lot of groups. If you haven't checked out already, like look up like groups for like independent filmmakers. Okay, like all those groups, just use those keywords. Okay, like indie films, independent films, and join those groups and start sharing your stuff. And create a Facebook page if you haven't already. I know you had the Instagram page. That's how you found me, which is
Yeah,
again, thank you. You reached out to us, and you came across
of
our
course.
little horror podcast channel. Also to get some more what's the word, coverage in your area, reach out to your local newspaper. Have someone come out and interview you. That's a
Yeah.
good way for
Yeah,
self-exposure.
we'll definitely look into that. I think we're getting a lot of we're always messaging people, we're always emailing people, about the movie, about several interviews, podcasts, promotions,
Mhm.
and always trying to partner with people, and we're just trying to make the movie as best as possible, with
Yeah,
as much help.
obviously
And
anything you have that you put out on YouTube, or if you have a Facebook page, like I don't, do you guys have a Facebook page?
No.
No.
Just Instagram. Okay. We'll be more than happy to share to help, get you some more exposure.
Yeah, we'll
Thank you.
appreciate that.
So this is a little off topic, but in Jersey, we have a famous director that came out of film school for doing something very close to what you're doing. Do you guys ever hear of Kevin Smith?
Oh yeah, the creator of Clerks.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Clerks was just a random student film that he made.
Yep.
Oh yeah. When I was looking up film videos on YouTube, that came up like crazy, like low budget, like that's like the staple of low budget filming.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he
you
did it with
decided.
a VHS camcorder, if I'm right.
Oh, really? I didn't even
And
know
then
that.
he
Wow.
casted all his friends, but
Yep.
wrote roles, like you said, as they already are. So
Yeah.
it all came together, and it turned into this colossal hit that threw him through the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this guy.
this just feels like that right now.
Yeah, he sold his entire comic book collection to help fund this film. Comics that in today's value would be worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But if you've seen Clerks, you can't get more guerrilla style shooting than that. I mean, he did shoot it at the place. I believe he did shoot it at where he worked
Yep,
at.
where he worked.
At the video store next door, and he had like half a dozen of his friends in that film, like who would go on to be other characters in his films, like little small roles. And because of him, they basically had jobs for the rest of their lives because two of them, Mike and Walt, were the manager of the Secret Stash in Red Bank.
Yeah.
And then went on to make Comic Book Men.
Uh-huh.
So that you could be the Texas Kevin Smith. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the goal, If we can make a movie with not that much of a budget, it could just shows that you don't need all that fancy stuff and all that's high budget things for a movie. You just need people that you can work with and some decent equipment, and you're all good to go. You don't need all that high
look
tech
at
stuff.
I think with the success, and even and this is in the horror genre, but with the success of Terrifier 2, it was made for I think like $250,000, maybe a little bit more, but
Wow.
it made like $40 million.
And that movie was gruesome.
It was gruesome.
It was
I mean, I
crazy.
like the character of Art. I'm not into like the gore porn per se. It fits that character, but it's these independent filmmakers that are giving Hollywood a run for their money. You don't need a $500 million film to be successful.
Exactly.
What you need to be successful is having heart and determination.
Exactly. And I feel like we have a lot of that. So I feel like our movie is going to be ending up as a good product. We're going to, make something good.
Yeah,
with not that much stuff.
The biggest thing I could tell you is where all horror, even everything, but mainly in horror, make us give a shit about the characters.
Yes.
Because when you don't is when it's cheap and you don't care. It's look at the Stranger Things. The reason why Stranger Things is so huge is because they took the time for us to give a shit about these characters. Whereas other series fail because we don't care. You didn't take the time, yada, yada, yada. So that would be my biggest idea for you guys with this would be make us care about these people.
I'm actually glad you said that because that was the big goal of mine, was to make people care about the characters.
Yeah, like I want to get upset when someone dies.
Exactly.
Like I'm a big Friday the 13th fan, and like the last time we got a movie was in 2009, and I didn't give a crap about any of the characters that died except for the fake final girl because I liked her character. The newer fans, they want just blood and guts. The original, my favorite movies out of the franchise are the first four, but in that era, there was character build up. You did like this certain person, and you didn't like when they died. And we have these fan films of Friday the 13th, and they're going the route of let's have each kill better than the last, but the characters suck. My friend Dave made a film called His Name Was Jason that took it back to those roots. And there was 3 central actors. You got to know them. and I knew they weren't going to make it out alive.
Your
But I
friend made that?
felt, yeah, yeah. Why
Yeah,
you
I've
seen
seen that.
it? Really? Sackhead
Yeah.
Jason?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you. I have to talk to you.
All I do is watch like fan films and short
You
films.
then if you saw it, you saw my 10-second cameo in it in the diner. But like a lot of people said, oh, there's too much of the guys just talking. We want kills. Well, that's not how the movie franchise started out. And when he did the film premiere, he had a couple of the alumni come to the movie premiere, and they praised him for taking it back to the roots. We really love those characters, and we hated the fact that they had to die. So, all right,
We
Jared,
actually
you got.
started out with horror short films. Keelan made
Oh,
a couple of short films just to get the memo of filming and all that and editing. And I started one of them. It's over and it ended up pretty good. We actually got a lot of support over it, and we
nice.
just showed them that that's a scratch of what the movie is going to be.
And
And
are
then when we take
these
the time to make the movie, like those are just quick here and there short films just to practice with all that and get the memo of recording and all that. But when we take the time to make the movie, it's gonna end up really well.
good? And can we find these videos on YouTube or anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What's and we'll give you at the end we'll give you the floor to promote all of that, but I just want to see, yeah, we can find them. All right, Jared, you got
I got the last
last question.
question.
Yeah.
So, what is your plan for the release of Night? Will you submit it to film festivals? Where can our listeners watch it when you finish?
Okay. Night is hopefully going to be in film festivals, but my biggest goal is to get it onto Amazon Prime and maybe Tubi.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really, I like the way you're going. And let me say, Tubi's got some good content out there lately. Like
Love
if
Tubi.
I can't find anything on the 20 other streaming platforms I have, I usually find something good on Tubi. I do wish they had like an option to not have commercials, because who's ever in charge of the commercial breaks, do it at the worst time.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
Be at the most
yeah,
climactic part
yeah.
of the movie or
Yeah.
something.
they're wasting
Something's about to
so much
happen.
money too because it's always the same ad
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
and over and over and over. I'm like, you couldn't sell more ad space to another company? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that's just my
But
gripe.
you know what? I bet you, now that I say it, next month, Tubi's gonna have a ad-free platform, So all right. So that's awesome that you want to do film festivals, and also if I'm not you guys live in Texas, there are some horror conventions
Some big horror
like
conventions.
Texas Frightmare. I
Yep.
don't know how far away you are from any of those. Once your film's complete, submit it, to
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
We want to get the movie out to as much people as possible,
yeah,
whatever
definitely.
website, festival, wherever. We just want people to see it and acknowledge the
Yeah,
movie and
check
the
out
production.
like the Monster Manias and the Texas Frightmares and the Horror Hounds, because they usually have a special. They usually don't charge a full vendor fee for like press stuff, so you
Yeah.
might be able to get a deal and just like, hey, hand out 1,000,000 pamphlets. Check out our shit.
Yeah, I know when I was a vendor at NJ HorrorCon, to be a press table, it was like $200 for the
Yeah.
weekend. But yeah, how cool would that be though? You submit it to a horror convention, and you're 18 years old and you see your name on the horror convention. Yeah,
Yeah.
Texas Frightmare is a big one out there. I don't know where in Texas. Horror Hound, I believe, comes to Texas, but yeah, definitely submit it as much as you can. All right, guys. So I'm gonna give the floor to you guys for all your social medias, your YouTube. I know Knight has a YouTube page, and also where we can find those short films you mentioned.
Okay. So you can find us at Night Official Movie on Instagram and YouTube. The short films are on my main channel, Off Brand Kevin, on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it, right? Yeah.
We
All
post
right.
a lot of stuff like teasers and all that on the YouTube channel and on the Instagram right here. And he posts a lot about the characters, about the film, and a lot about that. You can just stay updated with the film. So make sure to follow that if you want to see a lot about the horror movie.
The main question I forgot to ask, what is your anticipated like completion when you want to have it somewhere?
Uh, like, what do you mean?
Like
Exactly.
when okay, so you're currently filming a movie. Let's say, when do you want to have it completed by?
Oh, it should be. We're having hopes to have it completed by the end of this year
Okay.
or the beginning of next year.
Okay. And I'm sure you've already looked into how to submit it to Amazon or Tubi.
Yes.
Is it a lot of work to do all, like, is it like do they have you go through hoops and a lot of
Oh
red
yeah,
flags and
it's a lot of trial and error, and you
okay.
can't even like you have to send it to them and have to wait like a month or two for them to get back to you and stuff like that. So it's a certain process, but I'm willing to do it. This is my passion.
Try it on try send it to Shutter too.
Shutter, yeah.
Yeah, Shutter does a lot of independent stuff as well. So, and they got some good content as well. But yeah, that's great. All right, so we are looking forward to your film coming out sometime in 2024, which is
Yeah,
awesome. And like I
Or
said,
2023.
yeah. Most
okay,
likely 2023.
oh, okay,
We're expected
awesome.
to have at the end. So,
I got you.
but
To have it out somewhere by the end of this year.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought your filming would be completed by this year. All right, awesome. Well, guys, thanks for coming on the show. We always want to support the local, well, not the local, but the small guys, the small ones. Not the
yeah,
Hollywood franchise. We want independent artists to be successful.
Yep.
Yes.
yeah. Thank you for having us.
Because
We really
we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
we need you. Because the shit they're putting out now is driving me insane.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're trying to make it good, We're trying to be different from others. We don't want to do the same thing that other people do, We want to
Right.
try to make our own ideas and trying to persuade them.
Very good.
All right.
So we're going to wrap this up. This has been another episode of the Horror Shed Podcast. We will see you next Monday. Goodbye.